The West Tigers take on the Bulldogs this Sunday at 4:05 p.m. and the best place to watch the game live and loud is at West Ashfield, who are great supporters of the West Life podcast. Here's some exciting news from our major sponsor, West Ashfield. Magpie Sports Awards makes its big return in 2023. The awards are to recognise, celebrate and reward sporting organisations, their champions and volunteers within the local community who can win up to $20,000 in cash prizes. Nominations close Friday, 17 March. Visit holmanbarnesgroup.com.au for more information. Holman Barnes Group, bringing people together. And welcome into another episode of the West Life podcast. We are sponsored by Holman Barnes Group, which includes West Ashfield League's best place to watch the game live and loud on this Sunday, our first road game of the year. So if you don't have a ticket, you're not heading out to Belmore, head to West Ashfield. We can suffer together and watch the boys. Hopefully, who knows, maybe a miracle on Sunday they get it all together. But head to West Ashfield on Sunday to watch the Tigers v the Doggies. And at Westlife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, please give us a follow on there. And a nice selfie of us three from the weekend on the Instagram, boys. It was obviously pre-game because we're smiling. Well, Rob's not smiling in it. In the photo, Az and I had a nice smile because it was pre-game and our hearts hadn't been broken yet. But give us a follow on there. Support and take part in the show at patreon.com/Westlife. And shout out to the half a century people watching right now on YouTube. Love yous all. Thank you. Hit like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Thank you very much. Fellas, another loss to break down, a Ventpod. I think I said maybe 2 weeks ago, look, let's not resort to a Ventpod, but literally we had so many people messaging, DMing us, tagging us, and just saying, we want a Ventpod, and so many people saying they'd like to come on. So we've got a few guests. Later in the show, we'll get through our little tidbits of the show, and then bring up the back end of the show with your thoughts coming in. So I will send out, for those that put their name down on the 10-to-1 form, and I send them an email to be ready for your email. So I'll send you an email soon with the link to jump in. And as I said in the email, it's first in, first serve. So we'll get to that later on. I'll put Rob Bashara on ice. A lot of DMs as well saying they want him to let rip. And we'll let you. I'll make the audience wait a little bit. I'll go to Az first. Az, you're sitting with Rob and I on Sunday, and just in utter disbelief. It was like deja vu, wasn't it?
Yeah, g'day Josh, g'day Rob, g'day listeners. You're not wrong. They had Kalen Ponga go down HIA in the first or in the second minute or whenever it was, and it seemed like all of the cards were falling our way for it to be a strong performance, a strong win. We'll get obviously more into the stats later, but you can't win a game making 18 errors and having 10 more sets than your opposition and making 18 errors. So it was an absolute disaster from the word go. Other than a few dodgy ref calls, it was all us just letting ourselves down.
Righto, Rob Bashara, it's what the people want. We sat together. I got a podcast and I drove you home afterwards. I got a podcast myself. You were on the phone to Tripper, who we might have on the show for his little rant later on as well. Righto. You've had 24 hours to think about it, to cool down. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bashara?
G'day, boys. It was good to sit with you both yesterday and mourn together after the game. Hello, all the listeners. Look, I'm lucky I did cool down. If we did a pod last night, I just would have been dropping F and probably C words, and I would have got kicked off the show. Look, firstly, this needs to be said, okay? Everyone within that West Tigers organisation is trying their best. I've got absolutely no doubt about everyone with their heart in the right place. It's just a matter of who's capable and who isn't. And that goes to everyone. Like, management can't wash their hands of who they've appointed as coach or coaches. Okay, everyone means well. Putting Tim Sheens, who hasn't coached in the NRL for 12 years, and Benji and Robbie as assistants, it was a huge risk. And firstly, I'm not going to. There's no way on earth I'm going to bag two legends, okay, in Benji and Robbie. As I've been told, Benji's pretty much the coach, okay, and I know Robbie has a bit to do with the coaching, but I don't think he's actually like a key decision maker. And to be brutally honest, even if I was upset with either of them, which I'm not, I mean, I'm close with Robbie. Robbie, I've been in his inner sanctum. He's not just a friend. I love his whole family. They've made me feel welcome. I feel a part of their extended family. It's not my job to criticise them, and I don't think they've done anything wrong. I think Sheens has kind of told him what they want to do and how they want to be. This is the frustration for me, and I'm sure the majority of our fan base. Firstly, anyone who thought our 17 blokes didn't have a go yesterday is just pure frustrated, because the effort, the physicality, how hard we ran, how hard we tackled, the commitment to everything, we tried our hardest. We just literally, especially in the second half, we were absolutely headless. Our red zone attack was diabolical. So I know the boys are trying, and it's easy to sit from my padded cell and say, you're an idiot, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, etc., etc. I know they're trying. The frustration we have, forget the 12 years we haven't played finals, our start to the draw, Josh, was awesome. We could not have dreamt
Almost
anything
too good.
better than to play the 13th team from last year at home, the 14th team at home, and this week, the 12th week at Belmore. So that, to actually, and I said to you, in the pods prior to the start of the season, and, not everything I say is right, but I said the first two games of the year are literally a separate season to the rest of it. If we don't win the first two games, it's over. And I hate to say it, guys, we're not making the finals. And that's 100% we're not making the finals unless the coaching staff get together and say, you know what, I know we love some of these players and we really want to stick with them, etc., etc. There have to be 3 or 4 designated changes this week, not changes because Papali'i's injured or Bateman can't play or whatever. Luke Brooks did some good things yesterday, but guys, he's not a halfback. He's not our halfback. He doesn't organise. And I'm gonna defend Luke Brooks on one thing. Maybe that's how he's being instructed to play now. Maybe he's being told Appy's to run the show. I don't know. But basically in the first half, Appy's trying his guts out. Luke Brooks is standing in Annandale and Adam Dwayhe is standing in 5 Dock. Like, they're so far apart. We've got 2 or 3 forwards on either side of the ruck. And I don't know what's going on in the red zone, guys. We made so many mistakes. Stefano dropping a ball. We never went for a repeat set. Tom Talau throws the ball out. Twally knocks the ball on. Even this whole talk about we're going to be this magnificent attacking team. What a crock. Like, our try for Kapoa yesterday, guess who made the try assist? Even when he's not with us, Jackson Hastings is doing our try assists. Okay. He tackled Talau, and that's how the ball came out to Kapoa. And if you really want to be harsh, Naden batted the ball forward 2 tackles earlier on the left-hand side of the field. So we shouldn't have scored that try. And unless you're blind Freddie, it was good for you, Josh, because I know you had a small bet on Big Steph. But Steph's try was a double movement. So we basically went 80 minutes again, not scoring legitimate tries. And all we've heard from Sheens is, the what would you call it? The spin, the bullshit spin is, if we score a try off every set, we don't have to tackle. The other team won't get the ball. And just this, factually and technically it's true if you do that, but then you'd have a scoreline of 160-0. So it doesn't work like that. But we just get spun with all this hope and belief. We made some really good off-season buys, Josh, and it's just not happening. But the hardest thing for me yesterday was the lack of composure. And everyone will say, obviously it's not our worst performance in the sense of we had 72 put on us by the Roosters last year. We had 60 plus from Melbourne the year before. We've had so many days where we haven't even showed up and not even wanted to put our shoulder in the tackle. But what Newcastle went through yesterday makes what we did yesterday our worst loss in history. It literally is no team on earth would have lost to Newcastle except us. They lost. Adam Elliott didn't play. They lost Kurt Mann pre-game, replaced by Tyson Gamble. As Aaron said, they lost Ponga in the first minute, who's their marquee player, their X factor, the guy that all their attack hinges around. They lost their hooker, Jake Brayley in the 13th minute. They had Dominic Young, Sinbin in the 29th minute. They lost Frizzell in the 50th minute. Jacob Saifidi gets sent off in whatever minute that was, the 65th minute. We played against a team with 12 men for 25 freaking minutes, and we lost. And I look at it the other way. So to make it, I just want to our listeners to kind of think about this. Just imagine pre-game we lost Joe Offahengawi. Okay, the first minute we lose Adam Guahi. The 13th minute we lose Api Coruscant. The 29th minute David Nofaluma gets sin-binned. In the 50th minute, Isaiah Papali'i comes off injured. And in the 65th minute, David Clemmer gets sent off. What do you think the fucking scoreline would be? And if we lost by 40, we'd say, well, look what happened to us. But with Newcastle, they won. And I am being harsh on this. I reckon if you swap halfbacks, okay, and this isn't, I'm not glorifying Jackson Hastings. Jackson Hastings is gone now. He's left our club. It's done. But if Jackson Hastings was in our team, we win comfortably. And if Luke Brooks had to endure what Newcastle endured, they get flogged. Okay, there's the difference. And they had composure. Both teams fought hard. There's no doubting that. But we were like headless chooks in the second half. We can't even create an overlap against 13. How are we going to do it against 12? So the disappointing, if everyone wants to know why we're losing our shit after 2 rounds as a fan base, it's because we thought we had 3 winnable games. We had first 2 games are at Leichhardt, and we've really got our hopes up because we bought the State of Origin hooker, a representative back rower, a former representative prop. We've got guys coming back. We've bought Bateman, who hasn't even played yet, who's got an ankle injury, but they're telling us it's not an ankle injury, even though the club publicly declared that he had to go for scans. Okay, what's he going for scans for if he's 100% fit? This is the shit we get spun by people within the club, and we're just meant to be gullible and accept it. John Bateman's injured. As I jokingly said on Twitter a week ago, penguins from Antarctica would have acclimatized by now after 3 weeks. Okay, there's not this acclimatization shit is rubbish. And if he needed match fitness, play him off the bench in New South Wales Cup for 20 minutes. Who gives a fuck about New South Wales Cup? So we just keep getting lied to, year after year, and they're just taking the piss out of us as supporters. And that's why we're frustrated. I'm frustrated because I don't think we can make the 8 now. So I've got to watch another 20-odd rounds, and we're going to have 1 or 2 weeks where we look like $1 million. But the reality is, if you're going to lose to the team that comes 13th and 14th, and probably we're going to lose to the team that comes 12th this week, how are you going to beat the top 8 or most of those teams? So I think just as a collective, we're frustrated, and I want to get on to Tim Sheens later. I don't want to do it now, but it's not just the stuff about we'll score tries and we don't have to tackle. He's told us we needed a development coach, and then we've been told we need an experienced coach, and then we've got him who's not really doing the coaching, and Benji who's never coached before. Then we get told we're 3 years away, we've got to bring the kids in. And then what are his, obviously Papali'i, and Coruscant were already signed. So what are his first two signings when we're talking about junior development and getting through? We signed Clemmer, we signed Bateman. Okay, 29 and 30 years of age, thereabouts, both of them. So there's mixed messages. It's just the same old stuff. There's more, and people will say, we're being too harsh. It takes time to gel, blah, blah, blah. The Dolphins have won 2 out of 2. Brand new squad. A few players are familiar with each other, but they have no depth in their squad too. So, they're winning games and we're losing games we should be winning. So that's why we're frustrated as a fan base. But, for me personally, I switched off with about 20 minutes left because I said to myself, even if we get out of jail here, which I still think we could, big deal. They literally, everything went wrong for Newcastle. Okay. And then Sheens in the press conference is trying to blame a couple of ref decisions. Seriously? Like, is he being deadly serious there to say that the refs cost us the game with everything that went wrong? Like, even the part about, Appy overruled the penalty and decided to take the tap. The bunker took about 90 seconds to 2 minutes to decide whether he was going to get sent off or not. You had
Yeah.
2 minutes to get a clear instruction out there. Go for fucking goal. We'll be 6 behind with a cyclone behind us and 15 minutes left. You put scoreboard pressure on them. You get to one score. And if the ref stupidly gives that double movement try at the end of the game, we're going to golden point. But what do? We declined a simple penalty goal. Yet we're like, oh, shit, we just missed a 42-metre field goal to tie the game. Take the fucking 2 points that were offered in front of you, you idiots. So even everyone involved is making shit decisions. And why did Coruscant overrule the coaches if he really did overrule the coaches? You want to know why? Because they're being told, guys, back yourselves. Back yourselves. Sheen said our possession rate improved yesterday. It was fucking 60%. How's that good? How's that good? We've got no respect for the ball. We don't put repeat sets to put pressure on the teams. Mate, we just got nothing. We just got absolutely nothing. This whole thing needs to be ripped out again and started again, because Brooks isn't the answer. You know, Sheen's also said pre-season, I want to give the young guys a go. If they do well, they're going to be rewarded. Well, you had Brandon Wakeham that's just getting try assists week after week, and he had a blinder in the trial against Canberra. You had Junior Tupu, who looked amazing and couldn't even get the first wing spot. We told everyone that Dane Laurie's not trying to catch bombs on the full. He's lost confidence. And look, the rest of Dane Laurie's game's pretty good, to be fair. He ran hard. He's getting a lot of meters. He's trying to back up, but he can't catch a bomb. If you can't catch a bomb, get out of first grade. So, you know, we talk a good game. We're going to reward this, reward that. What's the point of winning in New South Wales Cup if you're not going to get promoted? Like, what's Wakeham got to do? Does he need 6 try assists in a game? Like, we've had Luke Brooks for 10 years and 2 games. Nothing. It's just not his go. And we had the opportunity to get rid of him, and Tim Sheens chose to keep him. So it is Sheens' fault.
And possibly extend him.
Well, not just that, Josh. I am blaming Sheens for that. But look, the rest of his signings were really good. Okay, but I'm blaming Sheens for the halfback issue. But if Sheens is making all those sort of decisions, who appointed Sheens? Okay. Is it Lee? Is it Justin? Is it the whole management team? They can't wash their hands of this, okay? Because it was pretty cruel to throw Benji and Robbie in a position where if they fail, they feel like they've let us down. They've given a lot of sacrifices, both of them, in their lifestyle and probably financially, okay, to try and get us out of a hole. And it's bloody unfair to put them in this position with a bloke that hasn't coached in the NRL who, like, you look at that second half yesterday, Josh. I've been watching rugby league since I was 4. I think I know a decent enough about the game. I can't comment on that style because I don't know what the fuck that was. It wasn't even a style. It reminded me of mini mod where you had to pass the ball 2 passes before you allowed the ball. Yeah. It's like, fuck me. What are we fucking doing? And if Luke Brooks runs sideways one more time without someone coming inside him, I think my head's going to explode. You know, it's just fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous, Josh. You know, we've got a premiership, winning coach in Sheens, and we just look like an under-7 side. And they're all trying their hardest, but they're obviously following what they're being told to do. And I don't know where we go from here. And we're going to probably lose Papali'i this week. I don't know who's coming back. I don't know who they're going to name. But if they name Brooks at 7 again, seriously, they can all just, go to hell, seriously. Like, I'm just not going to get emotionally attached with it anymore, because what good does it do? The club doesn't listen. Like, anyone that criticises the club is just deemed not to be a true supporter. And you even saw within the own organisation, the West Magpies chairman has been told to sit down, had his membership cancelled, and gets a year suspension because how dare he question Lee and Justin Pascoe? No, let's just keep losing. No fucking worries. Just keep blaming every coach that you hire, even though you're the ones that hired him. You know what I mean? It's just, you can't. There's common factors in what we've done wrong in the last few years, and 2 of those blokes are still there. But they said, we've got nothing to do with the football department. This is a business. We're financially everything's financial to these blokes. So if Sheens fails and if Benji fails, it's on them as well. It's not just on Sheens. They're the ones that appointed him. But anyway, look, I've gone on for 7 or 8 minutes too long. I want to hear what everyone else has to say, and I'm happy to chime in or whatever. But yeah, just another year. Like, I did not think, like last year, I knew we had no hope, and it was gut wrenching to go through. But this year, I had hope from literally Sunday week ago at 6 o'clock, and it ended basically at 6 o'clock yesterday. Like, I had 1 week of hope, and it's absolutely sapped out of me. Unless there's a change in the halfback, probably the fullback. You know, even, you know, I jumped to my feet yesterday when Naden got the ball. I thought it was Staines. I'm like, what are you doing on the left wing? Why is the left winger standing 3 in, and why is the centre standing on the wing? I don't know. And Sheens tells us, oh, Bateman needs to learn these intricate plays. What intricacy is there about our football, Josh? What intricacy is he missing? The guy's a rep player. He'll probably fix our team in 2 minutes if his ankle's okay. Like, we needed to win these 2 games, and he could have had a broken ankle for 6 weeks. Like, we needed to get off to a good start. And I think the 3 of us have seen 2 weeks in a row, as soon as the boys are down 2 scores, like 10-0 or 6-0 or whatever, their heads dropped.
Yeah.
You know, you can see they're deflated, and they're trying their guts out. Anyone that thinks they're not trying, of course they're trying, but there's just no, I don't know, there's just no red zone attack, guys. I don't know what else to put it down to.
You talk about hope, and I see Dane on YouTube comments saying, "Why?" Like a few people saying, "Why did you have any hope of making the finals?" I don't think any of us expected to make the finals, but we thought, like you said, an easy draw coming out round 1 and 2. Like, we've burnt 2 home games already, and we only have 9 home games. We only have 9 home games in Sydney this year. We've given one to Magic Round, one to Magic Round, 1 to Tamworth, 1 to New Zealand. We've got two out of 22 games left. We've only got nine of those are at home in Sydney. We've burnt 2 of them already against 2 mediocre teams, as you said. So you talk about, like, making money. It's just we needed this. People saying about hope. I think we said it in the previous show before round 1 that these 2 games will kind of set up for the season. And people saying it's only round 2. We can't afford going 0-2. Like, it's just, and just the momentum too. If we had I know you said if we had a won yesterday, you still wouldn't have felt good, but I still think it would have been enough to get enough momentum and bit of confidence. Like, perhaps. A win's a win. They would go. If we had a won yesterday, scraped over the line yesterday, like, surely going into the Bulldogs game this week, you'd have a little bit of hope. But whereas right now we're 0-2, the players we're losing Papa. So the only news story I got tonight. So Papa, as you mentioned, he's got a grade 2 charge. He'll get cop 1 week. I think the club announced that they're going to just cop the 1 week. So we'll have no Papa for the Bulldogs this week either. Hopefully Sean Bloor is back to slot in there. But yeah, just Josh, the whole momentum of the season.
Besides, obviously, like, I really think with the forwards we bought really well. I really do think that. Besides all that, okay, look, late last year I got really upset with the wording of the murals, okay, in the Centre of Excellence of Marshall and Farah. I just thought it was like literally a 7-year-old could have done a better job, you know, honouring 2 legends. And I commented on something, okay, like bagging it. And look, I'll just be straight up. I don't think you'd mind me saying it. Robbie Farah sent me a text because he's a good friend. He goes, Rob, you know, you're constantly being negative. You kind of need to be, you know, like a little bit more positive. So in the off season, I kind of just cut from Twitter. I wasn't really getting engaged in West Tigers stuff except with you guys when we talk privately. And I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? Okay, we don't have much in the back line, but like, we've got such a good forward pack that, you know, we should be able to hold our own with most teams and get going. So I had a lot of hope. Then when I saw the New Zealand trial, I was just absolutely devastated, even though most of the team was out. But then when I saw the Canberra trial, I know it was only a trial, I loved how we were playing. I loved the way Wakeham and Dewey were combining. I saw forwards hitting and spinning and offloading. I saw a lot there, and I thought, why can't we make the 8? Like, you know, we've got a good forward pack. I mean, our fullback's not the world's greatest fullback, but he knows enough how to play. The way he can set up enough tries. Brooks isn't an organiser. If Naden plays well in the centres, I think we've got enough there. So that's why I got my hopes up. And plus, looking at the draw, I thought if we get off to a good start, it's either going to be a great year or a shit year, depending on how the first two games went. So I think as a supporter, you got to try and have hope. You got to try and be positive. You know, we could have spoken about a lot of other stuff and been more negative the last month, and we haven't. We've been trying to pump this team up, but it's, you know, what I've seen the last. I don't know what we're trying to do. I just don't think throwing the ball to someone who's not in a better position than you achieves anything. And all it actually does, it doesn't set you up for the next play. And like, you've bought quality forwards and you're throwing it sideline to sideline. Like, play to your strengths. So I just don't get it. But yeah, I want to have hope. I want to cheer. Like, you saw me yesterday. I hardly screamed. I nearly hit the grandstand roof when we thought Twally scored. But that was just because it was Twally scoring. It wasn't about thinking, oh, we're going to win now or anything like that. But we all share the same frustrations, Josh. And you know, like I said, I was on the phone till nearly midnight last night, just replying to people that have reached out to me, because, you know, I don't want to be rude to them. If they've reached out to me, I want to at least give them the decency of, you know, a reply of some sort. So, but everyone's hurting, mate. Everyone's hurting, and it's ridiculous after 2 weeks. But it's because if we'd have lost to, say, Penrith and the Roosters, we'd say no worries. We've still got a lot of winnable games left. But we've lost to two teams at home that we should have beaten, and we should be beating the one next week as well.
Right. As we do the match review here, I'm going to bring in Joel. I was saying you've been sitting there waiting patiently through all that, so I'm going to bring you up now. So Joel is from Grandstand Radio on the ABC, so he's an actual professional radio guy, as opposed to us Muppets that just come on and you got your professional gear there. You sound quality, more of a sound expert than I am with the issues that we've had previously. But in saying all that, Joel, welcome to the West Life podcast. How are you going?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Long time listener, first time guest.
I appreciate
nice
that.
to be here. Thank you. And also very excited to talk about the Oscars. I'm assuming that's what we're doing here today.
The Oscars. My wife did mention that earlier. What won Best Picture?
Nominations: Adam Dwayhe for Cramps.
For Cramps.
Yeah. Give us some good acting yesterday.
Yeah.
Just give yourself, before we get into it, Joel. So did I say that right? So you're from the Across the Park podcast on the ABC?
No, but I do work for Grandstand Radio.
Okay.
On the ABC. I also do a show called Across the Park.
Yeah.
Which is a radio show at a different station, and it's a podcast as well. But I'll take that. I'll take anything.
Okay.
Certainly not professional though.
Yeah. Oh, well, more professional than we are. The Knights, obviously, just to reiterate, 14-12 tries to Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Dominic Young got a double. For us, Kepaoa Utoi Kamanu, as Rob said, I had a little bonus bet on him to score, so him getting that try, whether it's legal or not, I got a payout for that one. So at least I had a pineapple in the sports betting account. Yeah, look, literally, I'll burn that pineapple for a win, to be honest. But and Adam Dwayhe 2 out of 3 he kicked yesterday. No, 2 from 2. There was no penalty goal, was there?
Yeah.
Joel, what are your thoughts on the game? I know Rob's hit every nook and cranny of that game pretty much, the first bit there, but what are your thoughts on the game yesterday?
I'll pretty much echo a lot of what Rob said. For me, when I watched the game yesterday, I had to watch from home, and when we had all that pressure to start, we were putting the pressure on them, to start the game, and then they ended up scoring the first try. It gave me this feeling, and I had the same feeling the week before against the Titans, that we're not going to win this game. I feel like this is 2002 all over again. We don't have the strength to come back from any sort of score. Obviously, I was right. And I was gutted. And then I watched the whole game and I felt really down. And then at the end of the game, I jumped straight on Twitter to see when you guys were putting up your Ventpod, because I was like, this is my turn. I'm coming on and I'm going to say stuff. And I was really upset because, like, my dad is the only West Tigers fan in my family. And there's only so much texting we can do back and forth. I had to, like, get something off my chest and all that sort of stuff. And the reason other people are probably lined up today. But I I was, like I said, pretty down. So my partner sat me down, and she just explained to me why it's not that bad. I mean, these guys, they went out there and they tried. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Jakey got knocked out. He's putting his life on the line. Tommy's got a broken nose. There's so much effort there. There really is. But for some reason, they're not gelling. And I don't know what it is, whether it's they're just not ready yet. Look, I don't like to blame players, and I'm certainly not going to blame Luke Brooks for anything. He doesn't pick himself. You know, the coaches pick him week in, week out. And of course, they'll do it again tomorrow. But, you know, I feel bad for him because I think that, like you guys said, Wakeham deserves a chance. And even Will Smith could probably have a go. I don't know so much, but he could. And just on a side note, when he will eventually play, I'm sure. You know, you could say Will Smith as a sentence. That's just something that I've learned. That is a sentence you can
Professional
use.
word spinner.
Yeah, I think we've been told that Will Smith, because of his contract, isn't allowed to play till round 11. That's the reason he's not going to get a go.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Well,
he's actually not eligible. But I agree, he looked really sharp in the Canberra trial, and he can definitely play, you know, dummy half somewhere in the back line halves.
he could be a 14.
He ticks a few boxes. So yeah, it'd be nice to have him available. That's for sure.
So yeah, like I said, I really wanted to come on here and vent, but my mind was changed by my partner. They are trying, and they will gel. And I feel like
Sure.
Appy is an unbelievable. I think he's the best 9 in the game. I think he has been for a couple of years, and that's why Penrith did so well. I just think as fans, we have to give them a little bit more time. And yeah, sure, this isn't probably not going to be our year, but finishing around the bottom of the 8th, 10th, 9th, I think is a success. And then that leads us into next year. And following that, I do think Benji has the pull power, and we'll get a few extra players. And yeah, things will be okay. We're going to be all right.
In saying all that, let's go through some stats just to. I know you're trying to bring it positive, but let's go through all the stats. And I mean, the stats are positive. I mean, a lot of them are positive, similar to last week. But the big one, as we were talking about before the show, completion rates 31 of 49. The Knights were only 30 of 39. So the Knights, we had 10 more sets than the Knights did, and then completed just one more. Possessions only 52 to 48. As that's 31 of 49 is not going to win many football games.
Normally, when you see a set count like that, 49 to 39, you'd assume the possession percentage would be closer to maybe about 62 to 65, down to 38, 35 the other direction. It's like that looks one-sided. But you can't make 18 errors and win games. That's just not going to happen.
It's also how we use the ball, guys. We're just lacking some smarts. You know, like Dane Laurie kicked a ball into the fence on the run. You know, Talau threw a ball over the sideline that probably could have done with the delicate grubber. We never see an attacking grubber kick like you see so many teams, particularly the Cowboys, where they run that what looks like a block play. They put a grubber kick through for Nanai. And they did it again the other night in the second half, and actually Brisbane did it in the first half for Capewell. There's just not enough strings to our bow. You know, Noffa knocked the ball clearly backwards yesterday in the first half. We got the ball back a couple of tackles later, but we didn't even challenge it, and it went back like literally on a 45-degree angle. Like, come on, man! You know the ball's gone backwards. Challenge it. There's just not taking that penalty goal. There's just so many things that. Little 1%ers, dumb things that we're just not a smart team, guys.
A lot of other stats pretty even across the two sides. Offloads 14-3 to us, so we threw the ball around. You can't say that. Dummy passes. I didn't know they recorded that 24-0 in dummy passes. The Knights obviously didn't fall for them. What have we got? Kicking meters, a lot more from the Knights, 628 to 401. A couple of forced dropouts to 1. Kick defusal, 100%, 67 40-20s. I mean, Luke Brooks, people bagging out Luke Brooks. I defended him. I tweeted out I thought he was great. I regret saying the word great. A lot of people hammered me for that. I should have said okay or
Serviceable.
not as bad. Yeah, I don't think it was as bad as people said. Yes, he didn't have a $1 million contract game, but I don't think he's as bad as everyone said he was. Like, he made the try-saving tackle when Dominic Young flicked it back into... It was Frizzell, when Frizzell did his ankle, so he was the one that brought him down there. He kicked the 40-20 that got us down the other end. That was a huge play. I thought the line break, he should have had Naden under the post. Like, there was a lot of things that Luke Brooks did do right. So, look, I'm not saying Luke Brooks Island's getting refurbished and revived, but I thought it was an okay game from Brooksy. I don't think it was a super bad. So we'll get into the player ratings as well. And just heads up, I see we've got two Joshes, so we're going to have 3 different Joshes on the show tonight, including myself. So and Ben and Matt also waiting there. So we will get to you guys eventually. So yeah, I promise you'll have your say. So but yeah, bear with us as we go on through the show. Any other errors? Well, errors as 18-11. Yeah, not good enough. 18 errors in one game. What did you say it was last week? We were talking about this off
14.
air. So 32
that's
errors.
30, yeah.
32 errors in 160 minutes of football. Joel, anything? Can you see the screen? Can you see my stats up on the screen there? Is there anything
I sure
there
can.
that sticks out for you?
Well, one thing that surprised me, I'm not sure if it's on your screen. It is penalties conceded.
Yeah,
They
10-4.
conceded a lot more than
10-4
we
rubber
did,
ducky.
and yet, but yet, couldn't pile on the points. So the attack is certainly the issue. I thought defensively they weren't too bad. Sure, they let in 2 tries, but the attack is just... And again, it comes from the halves and it comes from Appy, but they're not gelling. And I'm going to say it again. It's going to take time, even though I can see people are disagreeing. I do think it'll take a little bit of time.
Of course it will. Of course, we will be better come round 24 than we are in round 2. There's no doubt about that. But we won't be good enough. 2005 aside, like we literally need a 2005 run to do anything special. I think it just feels like they might ramp up by the end of the year, but it'll just be too late. So, Joel, what position on the ladder would be a success or a decent year for you for this team?
Anything but 17th would be nice. I think around 9th, 10th, 11th.
Yeah.
Anything better than what we were last year is going to be good. And I don't just mean dead last, a few above that.
Yeah, okay.
There are teams that we should be beating. And no doubt we will beat teams that we shouldn't be beating. We do it every year.
Yeah.
But we just have to win those games that, like the last 2 games, we should have won.
Yeah.
Like Rob said. Yeah, around 9th or 10th.
As any other stats on that caught your eye before we move on?
No, not too many. The missed tackles, I mean, both teams were kind of even with the missed tackles. It just seems that the ones that we missed led to tries more often than not, or led to potential line breaks. It was just one of those games where, like you said, and like Rob said, we had everything go our way. The Knights ended up with so many players either injured or off the field for extended periods of time, and we just couldn't get it done. Because I think they ended up with, what was it, 1 player left on the bench at full time,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
they had 1 player left on the bench, like 1 fit player, and one who had been sent off. And you'd think any game manager, like any game managing half or whatever in that position, would ice the game, like less with more than 5 minutes to go in the game, and we just couldn't get it done. The worst part, I think, was the fact that with 12 players on the field, we couldn't find a single overlap. We tried to go expansive around them a few times, but they always had us covered. And I think that was watching it live, that was the most frustrating thing. That they were trying, I know, and there was that switch of Charlie Staines to fullback for probably about the last 10 minutes where he looked really threatening, but it just wasn't clicking, and I hope it clicks sooner rather than later, but I honestly feel like it's not going to happen till later.
Byron asked how many tackles inside the 20. Do you know where to find that stat at all? It's not in any of my screenshots here. Do you know how to find that? Can I get you on that?
I could probably do a little bit of digging for the
see if you can find that, because that is actually, I would like to know what the red zone tackles were. Yes,
I just wrote down on a piece of paper, like I rewatched the first half. I didn't really want to put myself through the second half again. Wrote down on a piece of paper our errors in the red zone. So we had Steph lose the ball. We had Talau pass the ball on the last tackle over the sideline. We had Laurie kick it out to Mary Street. We had, I told you about the no challenge with Noffa, but that was in our end. Papali'i dropped a ball on the left-hand side. And then we had probably a bit of a no-look pass from Appy Coruscant to Dwayne that was a little bit behind him over his right shoulder. That was all in the red zone. You're talking about our penalty count. Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but I think we won the penalty count against Gold Coast 9-3 as well. So that really just shows how bad our red zone attack is.
Yeah.
And also Gold Coast lost to, who I thought was going to get the wooden spoon in St. George straight after the game quite comfortably, with Jacob Little at hooker with Zane Musgrove. So, there's just with Musgrove there. So, a few of our rejects. So, I just think we just look really, really bad at the moment. Like St. George proved what the score should have been against the Gold Coast. So, yeah, we've just got to sort out that red zone attack. And I know you're saying our defence was okay, but like the first time Newcastle got into our quarter line, they scored on the right wing. As this literally just block play. And then their second rower scored not long later with just Jacko digging into the line and another person straightening up the attack, and the hole was there and went straight through Adam Blakey. So I don't know. I just don't know where we go, guys. But we have to fix the attack, but we have to fix everything. There's just a lot to rectify because our defence will be worse when other teams get a better share of possession.
Rob, GD Tiger asked about did that motorbike come through my mic then? It just drove past my house.
Yeah.
Really loud in my ear. GD Tiger asked, are we going to mention the shit with Tommy at the end of the game? So I'm assuming the interaction.
I think we should.
Yeah, you go. You go.
Come up with a rant or something. I don't know. I didn't know what everyone else was going to mention.
Okay. We'll
yeah,
promise.
There's mixed emotions about that. Okay, everyone's saying, what do you expect? He broke his nose, and Clement was standing up for his teammate. I get all that part. Anyone who legitimately thinks that Jackson Hastings tried to break his nose is an idiot. It was a bloody accident. It happened on the field. I think in hindsight, in a better situation, perhaps if they were all in the dressing room and Jacko knocks on our dressing room door and says, hey, I want to come in and apologise to Tommy, is that okay? And then they check with Tommy, that probably would have been a better way to go about it. But to react the way he did to someone wanting to shake your hand and apologise is just absolutely bad sportsmanship and no class. And I know there's a lot of Tiger supporters that disagree with me, but I'm happy to disagree because I just think it was just an absolutely poor look. And I think the way Sheen's carried on in the press conference about, we're really upset, he broke his nose, blah, blah, blah. Tim Sheen should know that's an accident. And Tim Sheen shouldn't be trying to deflect on other shit like Tom Talau's broken nose or a couple of refereeing decisions where we blew the game ourselves. It had nothing to do with the referees.
Question for you, Joel. I assume, I'm going out on a limb, you're probably closer to Az's age than mine and obviously Rob's age. Do you remember the Sydney Tigers, the mid-90s? Do you remember?
I do. They had a bit of purple, didn't they?
Yeah, a bit of purple stripe with the MLC phones ads. How long? Give us a quick background. So Tigers supporting history. So you were Balmain previously.
Yeah, I supported Balmain. When I was a kid, watched the '89 grand final with.
Okay, you're older than me then. Okay.
Oh, I'm old.
Yeah. You look. Okay,
don't make me cry, Josh.
He's old. I'm He actually looks way younger than me, so
Must
I
be
need to
some sort of filter
moisturize
on
or
the
something.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe low light or something.
So yeah, it would have been the late 80s, couple of grand finals there. I used to sit around with my family. My grandparents would come over. We'd take the posters out of the newspaper, and didn't matter who we were supporting. We'd put them up on the wall, and we'd have streamers, and we'd get super excited. I didn't follow anyone,
Yeah.
but Balmain played a couple of years in a row, as we know, and I was just like, I think these are going to be my team, and then just fell in love with them. Players like Tim Brasher, Wayne Pearce, and so I supported Balmain. Then Sydney Tigers, West Tigers, always,
Perth
been a big
Tigers.
fan.
Central Coast Tigers was
Richmond Tigers
for a bit there.
Oh, good man. Love it.
So MLC phones are now known as Mobile Corp, and Stephen, long-time listener from Mobile Corp, passionate Tigers fan. He can assist with anything IT related, and they were the major sponsor of the Tigers in the mid-90s, as we just were talking about. They say there's a saying in IT, there are only two types of companies, those who have been hacked and those who will be hacked. So what can business owners do to protect themselves from cyber attack? Mobile Corp, they're a family-run tech company that supports the West Tigers and even was a jersey sponsor back in 2007. Mobile Corp is passionate about helping protect businesses from cyber threats for an affordable cyber security solution. Go to mobilecorp.com.au. Just going down to from talking about Maine, we're talking Magpies now. New South Wales Cup. 31-18. As you saw more of this game than we did, you got there a little bit earlier. Rob and I only caught the last half hour of it, but the Magpies dominated again.
Yeah, they did. Well, not really. It was a bit of a come from behind win. I don't remember what the halftime score was. I think it was 12-6 to the Knights, maybe. No, I think we led 12-10 at halftime. It was really close. The Knights took an early lead and they fought their way back into it. Only just ran away with it a little bit late, with a few really solid plays from the number 14, James Valavatu. I think his name is there.
Yep,
I can't.
got a double. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brandon Wakeham once again led the team exceptionally well. From halfback, he was absolutely brilliant and very threatening with a lot of his touches. Kidioni Katoga, who I've heard rumours he might be off to the Bulldogs at some point, which is a little bit disappointing, was really, really good too.
Someone mentioned that in the Discord. Rachel was asked that on Facebook. Has he signed? Someone said in our Discord they heard that he's signed. I missed that. I didn't actually open up that yesterday. The Discord was firing off yesterday, so it was a lot to miss. So I think someone did mention something about it, but not too sure. Rachel, we'll have to see. I guess something about $150 payout fee to take him now or something. Anyone?
No, I don't know, but I mean the guy's scoring tries left, right, and centre in New South Wales Cup. So why would you lose him? Aaron, I was just going to ask you. Do you reckon Junior Tupu should get a look in this week?
I think he should. There's probably going to have to be a bit of a shuffle there regarding Jake. I'd say Jake won't be playing. With Papa accepting the 1 week suspension there's definitely going to have to be a bit of a shuffle. We're going to be at least two players different. It's just a matter of who goes to 14. But if one of the wingers does go, or if one of the wingers / fullbacks does go to 14, then I do think that Tupou should definitely get a look in.
Yeah.
Got some concerns about Noffa, but we'll get into that when we talk players and ratings.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I just ask about Wakeham? Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So he obviously kicked 5 from 5 there and the field goal. I mean, a good goal kicker is something we need.
The field goal looked sweet as too.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Yeah. That's all. I just think.
Yeah.
Good goal kicker helps.
I mean,
sure.
that's an extra bonus. But if we're not scoring tries or not getting penalty kicks, that doesn't really matter. I just think if you see Wakeham, how he's been playing, even in the trial and what he's doing in New South Wales Cup, and you see how Luke Brooks plays, you'd think they're on the same price tag. One's on a tenth of the contract as the other. So I just give him a go, and if it doesn't gel straight away, because they did gel in the trial, if he has a poor game, then go a different direction. But let's not get to like 0-7 and then say, you know what, it's time to bite the bullet with Brooks, because we've had many years where we've had 3 or 4 blokes with a combined salary of about $2 or $3 million in Reggie's. So I don't know. Like I say, I think Sheens himself needs to swallow his pride and do what's best for the team and get Brooks out of halfback. He's just not a halfback. Put him in any other position you want. He's not to be in the halves. He can't control the game. We're not going to succeed with him there, but it just seems like we've got this Project Brooks going on for the last 10 years, and it's just not going to work. He's not going to change. I haven't seen any change from last year. Still runs sideways, still can't create space. Just get rid of him. I don't, and he wasn't that bad in terms of individual efforts yesterday, but even Josh, that break you're talking about, where, Naden was on the inside and Dominic Young got sin bin. I mean, Luke Brooks got a ball from Papali'i. Papali'i actually puts him through a gap. Like Papali'i's got more line break assists than Luke Brooks. So, if you want to play Luke Brooks at left centre for some stupid reason, then do that, but don't put him in the halves.
So the Magpies, they're third now, but they're 2-0 with man, in my eyes, I should have made this bigger. So the Jets, the Dogs, and the Warriors and Panthers are all on 2-0. So they're tied first, we'll call it. So Cup boys going well. So in the Magpies juniors, so Harold Matts, they lost to the Knights 30-24. SG Ball had a 32-all draw on the table. So Magpies, Mats, they're in 9th place, but they're only 2 points behind third. SG Ball, they're in 4th, tied third. The Balmain side, the Harold Matthews, they got a win over the Steelers down in Wollongong, 30-28, and then they got smacked in the SG Ball 54-4 by the Steelers. Harold Mats, we're 6th, or Balmain is 6th, tied third in terms of points, and then we're 13th in SG Ball there. In the women's, they lost on the buzzer, so we had a chat with their coach at Leichhardt on Sunday, yesterday, Rob. The girls, literally, apparently they went down the blind side. We didn't see a game.
Went down the blind side and scored, Levels out for our Balmain Harold Matts winning on the bell as well. We won on the bell against the Steelers, so you win some, you lose some.
Tarsha Gale, they got done 20-6, so they played at Campbelltown on Saturday. Laurie Daly Cup, Andrew Johns. So Laurie Daly Cup, we're finished. Andrew Johns Cup, the semi-final. I think last week I said it was this weekend. There's a week off, so we're playing this coming weekend in the semi-final, the MacArthur West Tigers. Just before we get into the ratings, Joel, I'll let you have one last say, and I might bring Josh D on. So Josh D, get ready to come on. You can do the ratings with us / have a rant of your own. Any final words, Joel?
Just, I think we have to stick with them, and I know everyone will, and I know this is just about venting and getting everything off your chest, and then it's just a game and all that sort of stuff. But we do have to stick with them.
Well,
we're
people, 30 years in, so
I know. But if people are bagging them, it must be so hard for. They are trying, but they just have to work on a few things.
They'll improve. They will improve. I agree with that. It's frustrating because we've waited a decade for improvement. So I think it will come. I agree.
Yeah, and if we do this again, I hope it's under much happier circumstances.
And give your podcast a plug.
Yeah, it's called Across the Park. It's a sports show that goes to air every Friday. And it's just me and my 2 co-hosts laughing at our poorly timed jokes for half an hour. So if you're into that sort of stuff,
like us.
Enjoy.
And send my love to Roy and HG at the ABC.
I will.
Heroes.
I'll let them know you said hi.
Thanks, Joel.
Cheers, boys. Thank you.
See you, mate. Righto, we'll bring Josh D. You were first in to the stream. Joshua, I'll bring you up after. Josh, it's a plethora of Joshes tonight. Josh D, you there?
Yeah, mate, good. How are you?
Thanks for, pretty good, for as good as West Tigers fans can be.
Yeah.
I guess. Thanks for waiting patiently in there and replying to my email out there. Shouts to, it's cool to see people keen to come on and, unleash. So, before we get into the ratings, what do you want to get off your chest, Josh?
So, really, I'm not going to bag any of the players individually, I believe. I'm more just really disgruntled with the management side of things at the moment. Same with Rob, same with Aaron, same with you, Josh, as well. Well, as you said, Rob, it seems Benji's, calling the shots this year in the coach's box, having the headset. But what I'm kind of seeing right now is kind of a pass the parcel type, attacking formation where we're just waiting for a defender to slip. Maybe we'll go through, score a try, things like that. But just wanted to mention, it hasn't been talked about yet. Did you guys see Tim Sheens coming down with the headset in the last 20 minutes? What was that about? I don't understand.
I think
that
he
at
went
all.
down to the sideline, Josh.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because why is Benji, calling the shots in the coach's box and he comes down, with his headset acting like he's doing something? I don't really get that at all.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'd have to ask someone, but yeah, none of them will talk to me, mate. So,
Well, you said earlier, Rob, that Benji's pretty much calling the shots. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Him and Robbie, one of the bird's eye view. Sheens has always coached from the sideline. He's always back in 2005. He was always
someone
behind
told
the
me that
bench.
Someone told me that Robbie walked out of the box during the game. So I don't know what that was about. But in terms of what Josh was saying about pushing passes and stuff like that, this is kind of like the Benji mantra. And look, in theory, it's really, really good. It's like, guys, if you do 20 things, don't worry about your 3 mistakes. Think of your 17 good things that you do. So they're encouraging to back yourself. But the problem is, I just find some of these passes are really willy-nilly, and we're just not respecting the ball. And the completion rate that you guys mentioned earlier shows it. So I just think we've got to find that happy balance. The problem is we're kind of experimenting in the games that we had to win. As I said, if we'd have lost to a couple of big guns, it wouldn't really hurt so much. But I think that's the philosophy they're trying to do, but I just think it doesn't work like that. You've got to earn the right to go forward. Our strength is our pack, but we've just got to be a little bit better in the red zone, maybe build a little bit more pressure with some repeat sets with a couple of goal line dropouts or something like that. But I think it's just about the coaching staff wanting to instill belief to have a go. If you see something's on, go for it. But I think every single person's doing it, and if you get 17 players making 1 error each, well, there's 17 errors for the game. So I think we've just got to rein it in a little bit and be a bit smarter and just be a bit more direct and a bit simpler.
Right, for the ratings this week, let's play a game. Josh, join in. So as I go through the players, give me your rating out of 10 for this player. Righto, Dane Laurie as we'll go as Rob, Josh. All right, as Dane Laurie.
5.
Rob?
Yeah, 5.
Josh?
Yeah, I'll give him a 4.
He was 3.6 was his average this week. Righto, David Nofaluma as
3.
4.
Rob?
Yeah, I'll
Josh?
give him probably 2. Yeah.
Yeah, 1.9 for Nofaluma this week. There are a few zeros in there pulling that number down. Brent Naden. Rob?
Just because of lack of involvement, I'm going to say 4.
As?
4.
And Josh?
I'll give him a 5 just because that support run he made on the inside. We didn't
So the
have
four-
much support runners, really, to be honest, the whole game.
The 4.4 backs you guys up there. Tommy Talau as
4.
4.
Rob and Josh.
Yeah, I'll give him a 3.
You got 3.0 and a broken nose.
I'm fired, Josh.
Charlie, not me, the 100 people that
That's right.
submitted the form. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're bang on. It's funny because a lot of people threw in zeros. A few people get high. It always works out. This is average. So, Charlie Staines as
6.
Rob.
No, I'm going to go 4.
Josh.
I'll give him a 7.
4.5. Yeah, I thought Charlie Staines I'd give Charlie Staines a 6 yesterday. I feel sorry for him that he's not getting enough ball thrown out to him. But I thought
he didn't do anything wrong, Josh. But I just didn't. It was like, where's Wally? Like I didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
He's either at fullback or 3 off the wing or on the wing or in the centres. I just was like, what position are you playing, mate? It wasn't like he didn't make an error from what I remember, but yeah, it just wasn't. I don't know what position he's playing.
That defines a 5 for me. Like if you don't make a
fair
mistake,
enough.
yeah.
Fair
Depends. It's all semantics, isn't it?
Yeah,
Adam Dwayhe as
Six.
Rob.
Apologies, Adam. I love you. 4, and I'm being generous.
Josh.
Yeah, I'll give him a 3 that game.
Yeah, 4.4. I think. I think he had a shocker. He did.
And you know what I think the problem is with Adam, Josh, at the moment, when we go to our left, like we're just getting nothing out of Brooksy, no creativity, no nothing. And it seems to me that Adam feels, or look at watching him, he's trying to create something off every single play he gets the ball.
Yes.
He's not building any pressure whatsoever. He's going for the big play, trying to do something special, either whether it's a run or a pass or a kick or whatever. He did bomb that try early in the second half, though. That was pretty poor. He held onto the ball for too long in a 3-on-2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Rob. Specifically with Dewey, some people will say he's one of our best players, but I don't really agree with that. Most of the times the way Dewey is impacting the game is where he uses his big frame to run through the line, score a try for us, which is good in some cases, but the combination between him and Brooks is just not working at all. Flat passes. Brooks seems to be getting tackled on the 4th.
It's just a lack of patience. It's just a lack of patience, I think, Josh.
Yeah.
Righto. The elephant in the room. Luke Brooks as
5.
Rob.
I don't care. I'm not giving him a score. I
That's
don't
not how
care.
this game works. Righto.
Okay,
Josh.
yeah, New South Wales Cup. That's my score.
Josh D.
I'll give him a 5.
A 5. He got a 3.5. So he's only he's 0.9 less than Adam. I thought Adam was worse, but I guess it's all on a scale. Stefano as
Just my thoughts on Brooksy.
Sorry,
really
as
quick.
yeah.
He had a mediocre first half at best, but he tried his guts out in the second half. He nailed a 40-20. He nailed a few other pretty decent plays. I feel like it's probably one of the harsher ratings, like one of the harsher average ratings in your survey there. But I have a feeling that's because a lot of people just already off the Brooks Island to begin with. So
his only defence, Aaron, is what is his actual role in the team now? Because if he's meant to be a normal halfback, he's not doing his job. If he's meant to guide the team around the park, he's not doing his job. If the keys are being given to Appy and Luke is to just chime in, then then you could say he had probably a 5.5 out of 10 yesterday, because he did do some really good individual things. But if he's trying to guide a team around or create for his outside men, he's absolutely rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we up to? Appy, I think.
Stefano,
you said.
Steph as
5.
Rob.
Yeah, 3. Too many drop balls.
Josh.
Yeah, 4.
He got 4.1, so you pretty much smashed that one. Appy Coruscant as
You could see how frustrated Appy was that there were no one, that there was hardly anyone backing him up when he's like ready to pass the ball in the red zone. I'll give him a 6 because he was clearly trying. He was very frustrated with the team, but because of some of that, some of the hospital passes came into play there.
Rob.
Yeah, Aaron, they were all trying, mate. I reckon everyone busted their guts. I'm going to give Appy an 8, even though he basically looked like a stranger around everyone else, because we don't have enough football IQ around him to know how to play with him. Okay, he tried his absolute guts out, but as I said, his halves are like standing miles away from him most of the time. He tried to create something nearly on every play. He absolutely used his brain up to the max, I think. So I know it didn't gel, but in terms of his performance, I give him an 8. I thought he was excellent.
Josh, did you go? I lost where.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. He was,
7.
as I've said, premiership hooker. He didn't do anything wrong. He's just got players who don't know what they're doing around him. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
4.8 is harsh for Appy. To be under 5 for Appy, yeah, I think is pretty harsh. David Clemmer, as
7.
Rob
6.
and Josh.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5.
5.0. So yeah, I think 5.0 I think is about right. Isaiah Papa Leahy as
6.
Rob
4.
and Josh.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. Just can I mention something on Papali?
Of course you can.
Yeah, so specifically with these new players coming into our system, I feel like we never get the best out of them, no matter what. Papali for Eels, he was a devastating second row, getting extremely horrid ball, from Brooks, from Dewey, for instance. And I just want to know what kind of methods or tactics we're actually utilizing to these guys that we're bringing in. Like, it's just mind-boggling at this point that we could probably bring in Cleary into this team and to be a dud. That's how I feel right now. And I don't know if anything's going to change. If we bring in new players, we've got the best squad. But if we still have the same halves, I don't think anything's going to change, really.
Yeah, I think he should be playing on the right. But, I mean, I guess we figured that Bateman was going to take that right-hand spot. We'll put him on the left. Tim Sheens is claiming that Isaiah Papali'i wants to play on the left. Shouldn't be up to Isaiah Papali'i. And he did get switched yesterday, if you noticed. Late in the first half, he started coming down the right-hand side. So I think we'll get the best out of Papali'i if we have him next to Adam Dewey, because Luke Brooks isn't creating anything for him.
Yeah.
Josh, I might move on to Joshua, because Joshua, Ben, we've got Josh, the other Josh, Ben and Matt waiting. So I might share it around a bit. Anything you'd like to plug, or any final words?
No, just tell the Tigers fans that keep in there. Maybe next year is our year, I guess.
We'll keep in there. Keep listening to us too. We'll be there. We'll be around with all this content. So that's the thing about us three, is we're emotionally into the game with everything we have already. But the fact that we left the ground, the three of us together, just thinking, like, man, we're sick of saying the same things. We want to talk about a win. We want to talk about good stuff. But yeah, it's we'll be here. We'll Tigers for life till they kill us. We'll be there.
No worries.
All right, thanks, Josh.
That's it, guys. Thank you.
Bye, mate.
One Josh out and Joshua in. How you going, Josh? Thanks for waiting patiently. I notice you go by Joshua. You're a fan of the UA.
At this point.
G'day, Joshua.
Good, Joshua.
G'day, Josh.
That'll avoid confusion if we call you Joshua. Whenever I see Joshua, it's either my grandmother calling me that, or Rachel in Friends when she dated Joshua in the Friends. For anyone who watches Friends.
No, typically it's when I'm in trouble. So
yeah, the same. My mum when I was younger. Yeah, yep. What do you, before we move on with the player ratings? Anything you'd like to get off your chest? You had a bit of time to think about it there.
it's just the same stuff again and again. Really, like you watch the first 10 minutes of the game, you look at your dad, you look at your mate, whoever you sit next to, it's like, oh, great. It's the same thing as the Titans game. You got 10 minutes really, really well, building pressure, and then one thing goes awry, and then Newcastle are around the field and scoring, and all the momentum's gone. And then you just don't have the pieces, the fit to bring together a system that focuses on ball movement, because you don't have a halfback that can organise anything in 20. Like, it's the same issues that's played just for a decade. And it's not hard to see why. Like, I know people come on and say, I don't want to single out any one player, but eventually you have to call a spade, because Rob alluded to it earlier. Like, it's not so much that he doesn't try, but it's more that he's not a system fit anymore. And it's clear. We saw it. We saw it the week before. We saw it on Sunday. He's a ball running halfback, and when you have a ball running 5'8", that's a better player overall. What's the point of having a ball running 7? You need a player like, I don't know, Jackson Hastings or Jock Madden that can organise a team, that can guide him down the park. But wait, they all play for different teams because we picked the wrong halfback. But yeah, I'm sure there's more where that came from.
Yeah. Sorry to
10
go.
years of it.
I'm going back a couple of chapters in the show. Tim's reminded me. I forgot to mention Jersey Flegg. So they won 32-20 at Leichhardt before New South Wales Cup yesterday. So good win for the Flegg side. I'll have to remember to add them to the slides because they started in sync with NRL, whereas the other ones started earlier. So on the ladder, where are they sitting? They're in 6th, so 1-1, basically tied 4th. So Jersey Flegg, hopefully in for a better season this year. Sorry, Tim. I'll get onto that next year. Moving on with the player ratings. Where are we up to? We're up to Kepa Owa. So you're right, Josh. I'll go to you after Az and Rob. So Az, what did you get for Kepa?
7.
Yeah, 7.
And Josh?
About a 5. He's still really transitioning, so can't expect too much, but he's performing well.
He got the highest score. He got 6.1, so he was our man of the match, according to you guys. So I thought he was great. I've been pretty critical of him in the past, but his move to back row has been a good one. I thought he was really good yesterday. Should have had 2 tries. That one taken away from him. I know I'm not disputing the decision of obstruction, but I don't think if that doesn't happen, I don't think they stop. The line that he ran was so good. I don't think they're stopping him there.
Yeah, I don't think it was about him, Josh. I think it was about it made a bigger hole for Adam, and someone might have taken like the guy that let sort of Kapoa through. He would have stayed with Kapoa and not had to
maybe
get Adam.
I think it was a defensive decision though, but I've seen a few posts about it on Facebook from disgruntled Tigers fans. It does look like he wraps his arms around 12, but yeah, well.
Yeah, but you can't. We're not playing gridiron.
Yeah, you got to go through.
Bowl him over.
Although we are like the Denver Broncos, no, we can't score fucking points.
No, we claim to be the Harlem Globetrotters, Josh, but we're like the Washington Generals.
Okay, we're switching basketball now. Joe Offengawi as
5.
Look, I'll go 5. To be honest, I didn't really notice him.
And Josh?
Same. Yeah, we'll go 5.
4.4. As I missed the perfect Simpsons opportunity then when he mentioned the Harlem Globetrotters. It's like Newcastle Knights were spinning the ball on their fingers and we could have just taken it. Simpsons fans will get it. Jakey Simkin as
purely on effort and putting his body on the line, 6.
Rob?
Yeah, I'll go 6, and I'll just throw a little tangent out there. Did all our players shake hands with Jacob Saifidi after the game?
And Josh?
4. Just not too much in not enough minutes to make an impact.
Yeah. 4.1. Seyfarth as?
I didn't really get too much of a look at Seyfarth, so I'm going to have to give him a 5.
No, I think 5's fair. I mean, he tried hard, but he's a bit of a headless chook, so he had a go. He didn't do any mistakes, really.
Yeah, I guess Chook's red.
He tried to do us a favour. He gave Brooksy a hospital pass like a minute before halftime.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
with his back.
Actually, just on that play, I might rewatch today. If Brooksy, I know you can't blame Brooksy for that one because he gets smashed literally as he gets the ball. If the ball gets beyond Brooksy, it's 3-on-1. We probably score there. It's just another play that just turned to shit because of the lack of class.
This is where a normal halfback, Josh, would come in straight away. So if you actually go to that play, Appy went down the blind side, got tackled. Adam was at dummy half. Okay, so Appy playing the ball, Adam at dummy half. Like, you got to get into first or second receiver, mate. You can't just, then Adam goes blindside to Dane, who just flings his stupid long pass back to the left, and that's where, it ended up leading to the hospital pass that Brooksy got.
The man that should have scored a try, Alex Twal as.
I've just gone to see if I can check if the Great Wall of Twal stood strong, but it didn't. He missed one tackle. I'm giving him a 7.
Oh, what was his tackle count?
46 tackles made. It was the most tackles of any player in the game. Missed one. So he's missed one tackle in 2 games, which is pretty on brand for Twoll. It's just the attack isn't quite there yet, and
Yeah.
he's allergic to the try line. I did see on replay that Frizzell knocked it out of his hands, so it's a bit unfortunate that was the reason why he didn't score. If that doesn't happen, I think he gets it grounded.
Just have to tuck it and fall over. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, 7 for me.
Rob?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. Aaron, I'll also say that he's developed a little bit of a step before the line now too, which is good to see.
And Josh?
5. Defensively, can't fault him, but he's just outclassed. Offensively, he just doesn't offer much.
5.1. Brennan Tumeth to finish. I forgot to put Stafford Toa in this as well, but I don't think it would be. He played 9 minutes or something, so probably wasn't fair to rate him in this one anyway. Brennan Tumeth as
not the best debut. A couple of drop balls with his first couple touches, so I'd give him a 4.
Rob?
Yeah, look, hopefully improve. He's a better player than what he showed, but yeah, I'm going to give him a 3.
And Josh?
Sticking with a 4. Not fair to judge him on that.
Yeah, for sure. 3.8.
Still a long way to go.
Yeah. We're still Brandon Tumeth fans for sure. Right, Josh. We'll move on to Ben. Anything else you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Just coach some structure, boys, please. Just have an idea when you get to the 20. It's not asking for much, but
score a try, please.
Do a thing that makes us happy, please.
Do what you're paid to do.
Especially the ones that are overpaid to do it. Yeah. Thanks heaps for coming on the show, Josh.
Stay well, everyone.
Thanks,
Joshua.
Thanks, mate.
No one's venting, Josh. This is like a
I know
constructive pod, not a vent pod.
Yeah, I have to rename it. Ben, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. We can hear you loud and clear. How are you on this Monday night? Rob wants some more anger. Have you got any anger like
if this was last night, I was spitting chips coming home, but had a day to sort of calm on it. You guys have pretty much covered most of things, but I happened to watch Sheensy's press conference last night, and I compared that with Craig Bellamy's. Sheens is all making excuses about the refs and blah, blah, blah. And Bellamy just called his players out and said, you were shit. We need to fix this up in training. It's the attitude. We expect better. We need a coach that's going to call them out for it. Last year we heard it was Madge was the problem. Sheens is going to fix it. We went out and bought the best hooker in the comp, one of the best second rowers. We've got Bateman coming in. They look so flat, so void of ideas in that attacking 20. I was there for the flag. I was there for the New South Wales Cup. The boys looked on. First grade come out. They're just, and we were talking about halves earlier and about experience and stuff. You watch the Dolphins on Saturday night. You got Katoa, who's 18, and you've got Sean O'Sullivan, who's played. He's played 4 years of reserves out at Penrith.
Yeah.
And they took down the Raiders. Like, they came from behind and, Wayne Bennett made the tough call. He said, Milford, you're not training good enough. I don't care what you're on. You're playing for the Dolphins in Queensland Cup. So I've said it for years since Sheens first got sacked. We needed to throw the bank at Gus Gould, Bellamy, Bennett, someone to come in and just get some professionalism about the joint. The Dolphins are 3 games old and they look world beaters. And I mean, I'm used to seeing my team play poor. I'm an old magpie. I sat through 60-point beltings towards the end of the standalone and all that type of thing. But I can't see myself wanting to go to games anymore and putting the money out and all that sort of thing, like trips up to Bathurst, Melbourne, Brisbane. It's really sucking the energy out of me. And, seems to be the monumental games like membership appreciation rounds, Tommy tributes, all that sort of thing. They just don't seem to lift, and it's disappointing. I mean,
couldn't agree more. I'll be honest. I don't even feel like going to another game, and it's not about the effort to go to a game. I mean, Josh was kind enough to give me a seat in the grandstand there. It's just, I hate feeling that upset anymore. As I've said previously, I'm a massive sook. I think the only way we get through this year is to desensitize and just kind of accept the worst, and then it doesn't hurt so much because, we've been favourites for 2 weeks in a row and we've looked ordinary for 2 weeks. And, I guess we're going to be underdogs this week, so maybe there'll be a little bit less pressure, but I think the pressure's just going to be building and building on everyone in the organisation, so.
As I think it was.
And that's not a happy environment to work in, too.
I think it was Aaron said it before. We're the type of team, we're going to go down to Melbourne and beat the Storm because we're not expected to do it. We've done it for years.
Yeah.
Whereas as soon as Ponga went down yesterday, you felt the attitude changed. Newcastle rallied. They had a leader. We don't have a leader out there. I saw a thing on Twitter. They're a ship without a captain. We've got Api Coruscant there. He should be given the free reins to go there. 3 grand finals in 3 years. He won one with Souths. He's the incumbent New South Wales hooker.
No, you're right. All valid points.
Rejected. I saw him leaving last night, and I wouldn't blame him if he went to his manager and said there was a stuff up with the contract. He went back. That's just.
Did anyone see? Sorry, Ben, you go.
Yeah, that's just sort of, we've got this. I was so pumped for all the recruits like Papali'i, Clemmer, Bateman, Coruscant. And we've started the season exactly the same as last year.
Yeah, I just think we've got to get in the grind more, Ben. We've got it. We're just like our strength is our forwards.
Yep.
And we need like you said, we need an organising halfback, which we don't have in Brooks. If they can find it within themselves, like Sheens, if he can find it within himself to put his ego aside, because he's going to look like a dickhead either way. He sticks with Brooks, he looks like a dickhead, and if he brings Wakeham up, everyone's going to bag him and say, "Well, mate, why did you? We could have got rid of Brooks and we could have kept Hastings. What are you doing? Like now you're dropping him to reserve grade." But for the betterment of the team, for the betterment of the club, he's got to give Wakeham a go. And you know what? Wakeham just had a really good game at the same ground at Belmore Oval three weeks ago. So I think they got to bite the bullet.
Well, with Wakeham in that reserve grade game, Newcastle were on top, and it was a run off. It was one of the forwards. He had a big run up the middle, and Wakeham just took control. And from there, we scored 24 unanswered points.
Yeah.
It was like, why is this guy not at least playing 14? I mean, I love Jake. I love him at the club. Appy should be going near 80 minutes. I don't quite remember what his game length was at Penrith, but you didn't notice that he was gone at Penrith. There was enough coverage there, and I don't want to compare to the Panthers, but 3 grand finals in a row, you've got to sort of measure against where you want to be. And
yeah, I think that'd be the plan when he's 100% right from that calf injury. I think that there's always going to be a bit of doubt there. So Jake was a bit of insurance on the bench.
Yeah, but it is only round 2, but it's the performances that we've had. That trial against Canberra, as you said, I was walking around the house. I was crowing. I'm like, this is going to be a good year.
Me too.
I'm realistic. We're not going to lift the trophy this year, but I just want a solid show. 8th place, I'm sick of getting taunted by the kids at school.
Are you a teacher, Ben?
Yeah. Kids are like, "Oh, mister, all through school and your team's never made it." I coached the PWSA team. They're like, "Oh, we've got more wins than the Tigers, sir." And I'm like, "Yeah, good on you."
What PWSA? I don't know if you want to say it on air or not, but I coach in PWSA as well. In which one? Sorry. Okay, I coach cricket in Blacktown.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry to go on a tangent there. Ben.
So in the positives for yesterday, I do want to praise Isaiah for his game.
Really?
I don't know. I was a bit surprised they didn't make a mention of it. His nan passed on Friday, so for him to actually get out and play.
Yeah, I saw someone mention that.
Fair call. All right.
And I saw an unfair comparison. Someone said, look, he might be the next Adam Blair. Adam Blair was just... I've made many thoughts about him being at the Tigers.
Yeah.
Talent doesn't disappear. And if he wants to maintain that Kiwis jersey, that's where I've got that optimism. I'm disappointed, but blind faith, silly optimism. I'm going to support them through thick and thin. And when they come good, we're going to be the ones that are like, it was worth this. We've got a damn good team. And because I'll bring up Penrith again. 5 years ago, they were lapping at the bottom of the table. They got a coach in with a vision. They got some good players in.
A good junior base, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to have Isaiah Papali'i, like you saw what he did with Mitch Moses on the right-hand side for Parramatta. And, you can see the difference now with Luke Brooks. I mean, if you don't have someone giving you good service, he's not Superman. Like, he's just not going to run through brick walls. You need someone that can ball play, and Isaiah's not getting the service.
Yep.
As any questions on what Ben said there before we finish off with Matt?
Not really any questions based on what he said, but I spotted on Twitter last night, and I'm wondering if any of you saw it. There was a picture that someone posted that was taken with Noffa, where Noffa just he was looking deadpan into the camera, deflated, dejected. Did you see that too, Rob?
It was in the Discord, yeah.
No, I didn't notice it, but I think the selection tomorrow is going to be really interesting because, I can't have it both ways. I'd really like to see Charlie Staines at fullback, especially with Matt Burton's bombs that are going to, be going in the air. But at the same time, I kind of think, you got to put like against like. If we're going to have Josh Adokar on the left wing, I kind of think, well, maybe we should be playing Staines on the right wing this week because, if they put a chip through for Adokar, he's just going to smoke Noffa. So I don't know. For speed. So I don't know if they swap wings or whatever, but I'm almost kind of thinking give Laurie maybe one more week at fullback and let's put Tupu on the left wing and Charlie Staines on the right wing. That would be like just play who you're playing against this week. Like set your team for who you're playing against. But yeah, I think maybe, very soon Charlie Staines will be fullback.
The same that happened to in Jersey Flegg. He took his fullback jersey off him as well. So it's wouldn't be the first time that Dane Laurie's lost his one jersey to Charlie Staines. Ben, anything before we move on to Matt? Anything else like to get off your chest?
Not really. You guys basically cover it. Pretty much hit the nail on the head every week. As I said before, just grit our teeth, hope for the best, and see how we turn it around because it's got to come at some point. Surely.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a decade, but yeah, we as I said earlier in the show, we will be better in round 24 than we are now. But yeah, fingers crossed. Thanks, Ace, for joining the show, Ben. Thanks for your patience coming on so late.
Thanks again, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
And just a reminder to the Patreon guys, we'll get to your questions on Wednesday's show. Obviously, we're running really late here. Patreon.com/Westlife if you'd like to support the show there and join the Discord, which was, firing off all weekend as well. Matty P, thank you so much, man. You've been waiting for over an hour. It's you're unlucky. Literally 4 of you popped in at the same time. So I really appreciate you hanging on late into the evening, man. How are you on this Monday night?
I'm all right. Most of you guys have covered most things, but my question is I watched Hastings yesterday when he had Tyson Gamble servicing him, and he was pointing towards the corners the whole game, and Gamble was arguing with him saying, "Nah, let's go this side, let's go this side." And Hastings was like, "No, go this side, go this side." And then as soon as the last player came on, they threw it out wide to Dominic Young. Dominic Young scored in the corner. He literally told him, keep going on the left, and we'll pass to the right at the end of the set.
and he just kept setting it up. Like that's what we need. And like my question is like, we lack center strike. Do we move Dewey? Like that's my question. Do we move Dewey in the centers and then we play Wakeham at half, who organises everyone, and then Brooks plays as that free flowing 5'8"? Like that's
that's pretty plausible. But yeah, I mean, well, Brooks isn't going to organise anything, so that's one option, I suppose.
I think Adam's too good for centre, to be honest. I think Wakeham 7, Adam 6.
But he can still do his kicks, right? Like even if he's playing centre.
Yeah, I don't think Adam would like it, but he's a strong runner of the ball, so yeah, I mean that makes sense, but I don't think Adam will be happy about that.
Like the Canberra trial as well is how we won the game. Was we were giving early ball to everyone. Like we were giving early ball to our second rowers, early ball to our centers, and like we haven't done that the first 2 games. Like we've gone through running down the middle first 2 games. We have not actually played the game we played against Canberra yet. And my question is like, surely we start going, stuff it, just throw it. Like let our back line do the work instead of our forwards. Let our forwards do the defense. Like we just kept doing crash plays in the 20. Like
But Matty, who was running the show that day? Because we had no Appy there either. Like we had no Appy, we had no Brooks. So obviously it was.
They were playing with no structure. They were legit playing with no structure and just trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
Do you think Matty, being a trial, no pressure? To me, they're a team that looks nervous. The drop balls, and the mistakes are super simple, like schoolboy errors. They literally look like the pressure got to them. Maybe the the occasion, I don't know, something about it. The team, they just look like they're just tight. They're tight. They need to kind of loosen up and, like you said, just play free flowing footy. So maybe the trial, not having the consequences, I don't know. Maybe now that they're 0-2, maybe they'll start. Yeah,
I feel
it could go either way. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel a couple of them are walking on eggshells. Like, for example, I reckon Nofaluma needs to go. Like, he's trying, but he's just not up to first grade standard. We're paying $500K for nothing. Like, I hope Mamalo's back or Tupu gets a go, because if Mamalo's back, he's safe under the high ball, right? Like, that's going to protect us from burden. But if he's not, and we're throwing Tupu into the deep end for that, like, we know what's going to happen. They're just going to bomb him wide. With Laurie at the back as well, it's going to be quite concerning. But do we rush Bateman in this week? Like Sheens has said, round 4. But if we're missing Parley, hello, second rower for second rower, Bloor in as well. That's my question. And Stefano hasn't even been up to scratch, to be honest, since his first year. Do we play him off the bench? So we put Twal as our prop, so he kind of absorbs the impact?
Yeah, I think I prefer Twally at prop than lock, but what are your thoughts, Az?
Yeah, I don't mind that idea, actually. Stefano, it might be interesting to swap those guys around and see if the impact shifts a little bit, because Twal, he really shores up that defense in the middle part of the game there when he comes off the bench. But if we've got him at the start of the game and at the end of the game, I think that probably works a little bit better in our favour, particularly against tired forwards. And then you make Stefano the bench impact player. I think that could actually work, but I don't know if they'd actually do it.
Matt?
They have to. They effectively have to. Tumeth has to get another game. Thinking from a coach's perspective, he made his debut, did a couple of fumbles. He has to get a game this week. And what do we lose with Twal playing at prop? We gain security for the first 20 minutes, which we've had already. And then Stefano might be able to actually make an impact for once and be like, hey, you're given half an hour for this game to go have an impact. If you don't have an impact, you're off to Reggie's. That's it.
Yeah, I like it, Matt. But the other thing too is you then most likely lose a second stint from Steph if you do need to score a try or create something or make a dent, because Twalsey's not going to make a dent at the end of the game. He's just going to be Mr. Steady and do your tackles. But if you got to come from behind, you'd rather have Steph out there than Alex.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll always have a HIA in the game anyway, so he can come on as that replacement as well, like at the same time in the second half. So it kind of is a catch-22. Like you got to run the gauntlet, and if like for example, Twal can come back on his lock and replace Joffa after 50,
Yeah,
and you're still going to get the same sort of thing. So if we're going all right, Stefano can stay on.
Yeah, of course.
So
Stefano definitely seems like he's not running off the back fence like he was.
His form's down, guys. I expected massive things, and his first 2 games have been awful.
I thought he'd be an Origin bolter. I mean, it's still early, but yeah, he's been pretty disappointing.
And like people are being harsh on Clemmer, but Clemmer played what was it, 50 straight, and then played the last 15
I think
as
Clemmer's.
well.
I think Clemmer's been pretty good.
He's been
He's
good.
trying to lead.
I think he played 65 the week before straight as well against Gold Coast.
He's trying to be that forward leader we haven't had for so long.
Yeah. Yeah,
We just need someone to go with him.
Yeah, he's not the problem. No way. Shout out to all our Patreon members. There's our list of all you legends in there. As I said, patreon.com/Westlife if you want to join these legends in there. Next show is Wednesday night. We'll preview the West Tigers v Bulldogs at Belmore Oval. Matty, because you're on last, I'll let you do the honours and do the finish. I'm assuming you know how we finish each and every show. Before we do that, anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, that's it.
Boys, anything else before we go? And thank you to literally hundreds of you that joined us tonight. It's crazy. We really appreciate every one of you. Robin, as I know, we all had people at the game on Sunday stop us and say they love the show and they appreciate it. That was really, it means a lot to us because obviously we just look at each other and we see the numbers, but we don't physically see you. So when you guys actually come up and say hi and thank you, then you enjoy the show, especially for a team that's so painful to watch. So we really, really appreciate all of you, like yourself too, Matt, each and every week. So, boys, anything else before we head off to Nine Eyes?
No, I just want to echo what you said, Josh. It was great to all the people that came up and said hello and recognised us. It was quite flattering, but yeah, trying to get to the car, Josh, walking in front of you, like we just kept getting stopped. It was just crazy. So
yeah,
and they've all got high spirits still. Like they're disappointed, but you can just see they're Tigers for life. They're not going anywhere. So we just got to ride it together, guys, and hopefully we come out of it. But we need to make some strong decisions tomorrow night with the team selection. So let's hope we've some positives to look forward to on our Wednesday pod.
We deserve
it's
it.
Funny, it's funny. I've never really been recognised in public for anything, and now here I am. I'm leaving footy games, or I'm at footy games, and I'm getting spotted by people who've seen me on the show here, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity that this podcast has given me, and I'm at the point now where I'm just trying to look at things positive. I was walking back to the car with my dad, who rarely comes to games. He came with me and my brother, sat with my brother in my member's seat while I was up with you guys. And he could just see how deflated and how down I looked. And as you boys know, I've had a pretty rough few months, and I was hoping the footy season would give me a few reasons to smile. The team haven't really quite done that yet, but he just kept trying to tell me it's going to get better, things will improve, and I'm just trying to hold on to that. Dad gives me some wise words every now and then, so yeah, fingers crossed the improvement comes sooner rather than later. But like Rob said, we need to see some changes with the team list tomorrow. Obviously, there's going to be a few forced ones. It's just a matter of how brave or how risky they're going to be willing to go.
That great way to finish. Love it. Boys, as always, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Westlife Podcast. Please follow us at Westlife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/Westlife Pod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/Westlife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the Westlife Podcast.